Hey, KAWP podcast watchers, Wellness IQ watchers, and also all the other social media that we have. I'm really excited today. This is probably going to be my favorite interview that we've done at this point. I'm very excited to introduce Mr. Willie Ray. Willie, a fantastic athlete, probably one of the best athletes I've ever met in my career. Football player, wonderful football player, a lot of accolades from your playing career. But you've done just about everything. I mean, football is just one aspect of it, but your athletic career spans over lots of things. But we wanted to talk to you today about kind of what is the trend in aging with athletics, longevity. People are really interested right now about what can I do if I've missed the boat. So I'm a 55-year-old male. I didn't have an athletic career growing up, but I'm starting to wake up in the morning with creaky knees, a creaky back. My shoulders don't feel so great. My job maybe has me sitting a lot, so I don't get an opportunity to do much. And I think I'm too old now to start any kind of an athletic endeavor. And I assume you're going to be able to debunk all of that because you have a very thriving practice, and you train people that are older than 55, and they're doing quite well. So just start by telling me a little bit about you, what you do, and then we'll work into what you have your clients do as far as their training as they age.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me here because this guy has been my mentor since back in, I would probably say 20 years ago.
Yeah, probably.
21, 22 years ago, back in the World's Gym days. And, Kelly took me through a vigorous workout. And from that day forth, we developed a relationship. And you taught me a lot of things about being prompt, being on time, being professional. And I've carried those values, those nuggets with me to this day. And ever since that day, I've been able to just really structure a lot of what I do with my clients because of the value and the things that you taught me, and I really appreciate that. So as far as me and my career, my motto basically is train like an athlete. Not that all my clients that are 40, 50, and 60 years, 70 years new, that they're going to be able to squat or bench press 300-400 pounds. It's just basically getting these individuals to move in all planes of the body with less pain, to where when they move in these areas, the way the body moves, they will be less prone to injuries, and they will be able to move a lot better. 55 years old, if you're a couch potato, it's not too late. But the thing that you have to do is really, get help from a professional.
Yeah.
Because what a lot of people do, men and women, but I don't want to say men. It's kind of both. But the first thing they'll do, and you've probably seen it, is when they want to get in shape, when they want to lose weight, you probably see them on the interstate or outside jogging. So if you're overweight and you're trying to jog outside on that hard pavement, you're doing more harm than good. So to me, it's important that these individuals humble themselves and get help from a professional, which that can probably put them on the right path to where they can start feeling better, getting rid of those aches and pains in their joints and stuff like that. Possibly put them on a good nutrition plan if the coaches don't know anything about nutrition, but they can put them in the right direction with someone that can give them some nutritional counseling that's going to also help them, feel better and perform better, because, exercise is a science, nutrition is a science, but I usually go a little bit deeper. I call exercise a medicine, and I call nutrition medicine, because, not that exercise is a cure, not that nutrition is a cure, but some nutritional things can be a solution for a lot of people that have pre-diabetic, for a lot of people that have high blood pressure, or people that are type 1 diabetic. that can be corrected through, proper, and I don't want to say diet, but proper nutrition. But, it goes back again to where people try to look on the internet and find something that doesn't cater to what their needs are. And next thing you know, it's not working for them. So what happens is they end up quitting because they're not seeing the results they want to see, because they end up doing it on their own. It's been times to where, for me, I used to work as a PT tech in rehab, under associates in rehab. Now, me having knee surgeries, multiple knee surgeries, shoulder surgeries, would I be in a position to say, well, I used to work in rehab, I know what to do? I don't. I would have to pretty much humble myself and get me a physical therapist that know what they're doing, that can help me in the areas I have no clue about. So as individuals age and they get older and they try and find that way to take better care of themselves, they need to actually really humble themselves and get help from a professional like yourself or like myself or whoever it may be that's out there that they looking to get help from. They got to really look and get help, because the internet's not going to help them, especially if it's not going to work. They can't go back on the internet and say, hey, this not work for me, what should I do next? But when they have direct contact with someone like yourself and they say, hey coach, this is not working for me, I still feel pain over here. You can look at it and say, okay, this is what's going on with you. Let's do this, let's implement this, and let's add this and add this. And then next thing you know, they're feeling a lot better.
So you're saying that a person who is 55 and maybe felt like they missed the boat, their first step would be to build a team of professionals that can help them get to where they're going, and not just research it online and pick and choose some things off the internet that may hurt them.
Right.
So find somebody in the fitness area to help them, find somebody in the nutrition area to help them, find the doctor that's going to help them, but build a team to give them direction so that they go forward with the best chance of success.
Yeah, or having the access to a team that, they know that they can go in this area and say, okay, who do I need to get that can help me with my coaching, or who I need to get that can help me with nutrition. They will already have that inner circle to where they can pick and choose from, instead of not having that inner circle to where they have to guess over here and talk to this person. Oh, I heard this doc was good, or I heard that trainer's good, or I heard they're good. You may want to go to this one over here. They don't have any clue. One of my clients, good example, to this very day, she's having trouble with her shoulder and her neck, and she went in to have shoulder surgery, I'll say about maybe 4 years ago, and she went to a doc somewhere in I think Paris. I don't know who the doc was, but she thinks that the doc may have broken her neck when she was in surgery, because her neck and her shoulder hadn't been the same since. So, and that's the scary part, because, we've talked to her and say, you need to go over to this doctor, because we're getting some good reports over here, because a lot of my clients had experienced certain, problems with this doctor that he's helped them, and they went to him, but she had someone somewhere else, and it just didn't work out until this very day. She's still struggling.
Well, when you're under anesthesia, there are things that happen that you'll never know what happened. And I do have a couple clients that are similar to that, where they went in for surgeries and maybe what they went in for got improved, but something else went awry. And you just never know what happens under anesthesia. Things happen, and that may have happened to your client as well. So yeah, and I'm in the same situation where I have a certain group of doctors that I work with that tend to do really well. Their outcomes tend to be really good, so I tend to push people in that direction, because the results speak for themselves, and it's just not a name that you picked out of the phone book or a name that you got off the internet. So I feel good when I refer to these particular people, and I think they feel good when they refer back to me, because we have a rapport and we know what we expect from each other.
Yeah, it's almost like a crap shot, or you rolling the dice to where you see, you throw a name in a hat and you shake the hat up and you pick a doctor, or you pick a trainer, or you pick a physical therapist. Whoever you come out with, that's the one you want to go with. But you have no clue. So having a good referral base to me is really, really important, because you develop trust.
That's right.
And that trust means a lot, because when you have that trust, you have that confidence going in to seeing that professional that they're going to take care of you.
Yeah, so you go in and somebody says something to you that may sound counterintuitive to you, but if they trust you and you've referred them to this person, they're going to go ahead and do it because of the trust that you just mentioned.
Yeah.
So they're going to say, well, I'm Willie said this person's good, so I'm going to go ahead and do it, and then it works.
Yeah.
And then things progress that way. So now your studio kind of focuses on kettlebell training. You're kind of an expert in kettlebell training. So how do you utilize that with your older clients and getting them to the next level?
Well, kettlebells is my niche, but I do everything else.
Right.
Strength conditioning, help losing weight, dropping body fat percentage. I give advice on nutrition. I'm not a dietitian or a nutritionist. I've just learned over the years, studied over the years, and I may recommend some things that my clients are able to utilize, help them, pick portions in the right, right foods in the right combinations, to where it's effective for them. And then I kind of monitor them at least once a month. But for my clients that are that really want to get into kettlebells, I have to teach them how to use them first. And some people are kind of scared of them because they don't know how to use them. They're scared of them because they had a bad experience with them. And usually I like to see if they can even move first, put them in a correct position before they even put their hands on a kettlebell. I have them do a barbell, like maybe a barbell deadlift. See if they can get in a position to do a barbell deadlift. Then the next movement, I'll move them to a kettlebell, because the way I do kettlebells is each movement has a progression. And it's just, Kelly, I've seen trainers in Lexington, I've seen trainers online, and seeing them do kettlebells makes me cringe. Sometimes it makes me mad, because a lot of people associate the kettlebell with what I'm doing too, and I don't want them to associate what they see out there with the same thing of what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is totally different. So, and my clients can tell you that, because they can tell you how strict and how just like demanding I am when it comes to kettlebell training. They usually say I'm OCD, because I have to be OCD, because when you're using it, it's different than a dumbbell. And when you're using it, you got to make sure you're using the right muscle groups. So you're activating your glutes and hamstrings, and not just not your arms, because your arms is just there to hold the kettlebell. But your glutes, hamstrings, and being able to hinge, get into a proper hinge, keeping a neutral spine, a good thrust in your hip is really, really important in using it. So can anybody learn kettlebells? Yeah, anybody can learn them. But, it takes patience, and it takes good, effective coaching and good cueing, because certain cues, people don't respond to certain cues. So you got to have the knowledge to cue them in to where they will know what you're talking about on certain movements. Plus you also got to have, kinesthetic awareness. You got to have good body awareness to where your brain can register with your body on how to move. And some people can't do that.
So you're using kettlebells with people, and kettlebells utilize momentum. Mm-hmm. So if they don't have proper form, they're there to get more fit, but if they use improper form, they can get hurt. Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is people see stuff online and people are teaching improper form, mm-hmm. they're mimicking improper form, and then they're getting hurt, mm-hmm. and then they say, well, kettlebells is not a good way to go because you always get hurt. And what you're saying is, mm-hmm. if you use proper form, use good technique, that you won't get hurt, it will actually help.
Oh, yeah.
It'll help you progress in your fitness and may correct some imbalances that you've had for a lot of your life.
Yeah.
So So you've got some people that come to your class and take kettlebell training. What about some of the ages of the people? Do people believe that they think kettlebells and they think, well, that's something for athletes, or they think that's something for younger people, and they walk in there at my age at 55 and say, I can't do a kettlebell? But do you get people to believe that they can do kettlebell training, and then they blow their own minds?
Oh yeah,
what they're able to do?
Oh yeah. I mean, my client Mike Birkich, I mean, he's 70. He's been doing them since he was in his 50s, late 50s.
Okay.
Still doing them today. He hadn't been doing them for, I would say, for the past week and a half. And but he comes in, and I have him do just a regular strength training, just stuff on his own. I put a board workout, and he'll just do stuff on his own. I have him do the reformer. He warm up with his reformer. I have him do single leg medicine ball rebound stuff, just to keep him functional. He does that. Then he'll do his little workout, but he's just itching to get back in. He'll see the workouts we're doing, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, you're doing a ladder, man! I missed that." So he's itching to get back into class again. But it's just a mindset of most individuals. I mean, either you're going to have an aggressive attack mindset to do better, be better, perform better, or you're just going to have a mediocre, lackadaisy mindset just to take things as it come. And I guess that's the difference between my training, because when people come into my facility, I have an expectation for them. And it'd be good if our expectations meet, because when they come in, they're paying money. That's an investment. So when they make that investment, okay, I'll say, I'm saying to myself, and I'm telling them, you're invested in me and you're trusting in me that I'm going to get you in the best shape of your life, right? Okay, so I'm going to pour myself into you, and I expect you to give me 100% every time you come in here. So those expectations tend to go a little bit beyond there. So when it's time to push, they're not ready for it. So I usually have to make sure that their mind is in the right place when they come in, because it's to me, and I guess that's having my athletic background, and to where it's like, go playing on the college level when I'm trying to make it to the next level in the NFL, when I went from there, then going to becoming a U.S. bobsledder. It's like, okay, I have to have an aggressive attitude, because if I want to make the team, I got to do this, and I got to put everything into it. Now, these individuals aren't out there to make a team, but the team they got to make is the team of life, the team that they got to be there for their kids, their family, for themselves. So it's an uphill battle. They're fighting themselves, and instead of fighting themselves, let's fight together to get you in better health. Don't fight me to get you in better condition, because I'm on your team. So let's solve the problem, and let's find a solution. What's going on with you, instead of fight me? You know what I'm saying? So it's important that and a lot of people, they don't realize, and I tell them, and this is the difference. This is the difference from what I do and what other trainers doing out there. I get people that's had trainers. So they come to me and I say, have you had a previous trainer in the past? What have you done in the past? Well, I worked out, I had a trainer over here. I'm like, okay, all right. If you don't mind me asking, who? They tell me who it was. I'm like, okay. So I'm not trying to show their trainer up. They're in my facility, so I'm going to take them through a fitness evaluation. Then I'm going to take them through a dynamic workout, which is the dynamic workout is everything my clients hate. Inchworms, VersaClimber. If they can't do a push-up, I have them do a barbell push-up just to put them in the correct position, using the right muscle groups. Plank push-up, goblet squat, just the basic stuff. Then we may do some battle ropes. And everything we're doing is just basic. And they huffing and puffing like never before. And I'm like, man, and I'm thinking to myself, you had a trainer, and you can't even do a plank push-up 10 yards, holding up your own body weight. You can't do a push-up, and your elbows are flaring out here, tearing your shoulders up. I'm like, and it kind of makes me mad, because they don't take the time to teach these people movement. My main thing is, so I got to retrain them movement. And it's like, I'm telling them to do this and do that and do this, and they're thinking like I'm getting on them, but I'm trying to put them in a better position to move better to where they won't get hurt. So in doing all this, once they get up to speed, then they'll be able to see how much progress they made. But what I'm getting at is I want all of my clients to be able to be developed, strong enough, and conditioned to where they can go somewhere else, train, and do whatever and kill it. But I've had people come into my facility and they training somewhere else, and they come in and they tap out. I've had several people do that. And guys come in there, other ladies come in there. And it's not that I'm trying to make you tap out, but if you try and do a class, the class is going to be what the class is. So you come in, you better come in game ready, because if you don't, you're going to tap out.
So not only do you work with your clients on correct form and how to do things maybe that they were taught incorrectly, but it sounds like you're a little bit of a psychologist too. You got to get them ready. You got to train their mindset to something that maybe they're not used to as well. So part of your job is mental, not only the physical part, but the mental part. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it is. It's like for me to, after I had came back playing overseas, I had got a call from my buddy. Good example. Got a call from my buddy I played overseas with. He said, "Hey man, I don't know, I didn't think of you earlier, but a buddy of mine is," because he was doing skeleton. He said, "Buddy of mine up here in Lake Placid starting a bobsled team, and I thought of you because of your speed and your size. You think you'd be interested?" And I'm like, "Yep, sign me up." So he gave him my name. He flew me to Lake Placid, and I guess having the skill set, the mindset, the background, a guy went right in there pushing it. He had to teach me how to do it. He had to teach me on the dry track how to push the sled, and it was just, it was a two-man sled. He taught me, and I think Tony Carlito, who is the track manager up there, within like 3 times I caught on. I caught on how to push the sled. He corrected me here and there. I listened, I focused, and as soon as he taught me how to do this, showed me this, tweaked a few things, did it. So it's not just me. Anybody can do it. A lot of people, they just don't set goals. They're just not really focused on what they got to do. And when you hire a trainer or a coach, or you go to a physical therapist, it's, to me, I want to say it's a life or death situation, but it's a life situation. Not only are you investing, you just got to know what you're investing in and know what you're getting into. I've had probably 2 or 3 evaluations. Well, I had 4 new sign-ups within the past week and a half, and each one, 2 ladies were like, "This is the hardest I've ever worked out." I had one lady tell me today, I never worked out like this before, and this is harder than I worked out over at the other place." And I'm like, this is ridiculous. What are these people? And what she did, it was a fairly easy workout. Had them doing pull-ups on the total gym, but I rigged my total gym up to where at the bottom of it, I put one of the mini bands. I put one of the mini bands at the bottom, and I rigged it up to where it's on the flat board, so where I can put it on the highest incline. And then when they're doing pull-ups, they got that resistance pulling them up. So I want them to progressively get stronger to where they'll be able to do a pull-up.
Right.
So it's like I'm always thinking of ways to get my clients stronger and challenge them to where they won't feel defeated, because they're already defeated when they come in. Usually when they come in, they're defeated, they're broken. So it's like we got to try and mend them back together again and kind of give them more confidence. Just like you got a client just had maybe neck surgery, back surgery, knee surgery. You got to put them all together again like Humpty Dumpty.
And they don't have a lot of confidence.
No.
Because they still hurt. So you use your knowledge, you use your attention to detail when you watch somebody who's doing a positional activity. So you take those people through your workout, but do they ever ask you, I mean, do they ever say, look, the workouts are hard, the I feel better, things are getting better, but do they ever ask you, is there anything else I can do? Like, do you talk to them about sleep? Do you talk to them about stress? Do you talk to them about supplements? Are there any of those things that you incorporate into your program that you feel are beneficial to your clients?
Yeah, I usually, like in my consultation forums, I usually ask them, do you have trouble with energy, sleep, weight loss? Do you have trouble in any of these areas? So they'll check them off. So, I say, okay, I see that you have trouble with energy. What do you mean you have trouble with energy? So, certain time of the day, it's like I crash. When it's like 2 or 3 o'clock before I get off work, I'm just drained, crash. Then I was like, okay, you checked off sleep. I said, you having trouble sleep? Oh, no, I don't have trouble sleeping. And I said, okay, do you sleep throughout the night? Well, throughout the night, I wake up a few times. I said, how you feel when you wake up? Groggy in the morning. I'm like, well, you have trouble sleeping. So no matter if you fall asleep, but can you stay asleep, get into that REM sleep? If you're waking up periodically through the night, you're having trouble sleeping. So usually, I usually recommend, I'm part of a company that has customized nutrition through a DNA fitness and nutrition. But the customized nutrition, it customized vitamin and mineral supplementation specifically for what they need, as far as in the morning and at night, because our body absorbs certain vitamins and minerals at night, like fish oils, omega-3s and stuff like that. And I never knew that your body absorbed them better in the evening as opposed to in the morning, as long as I've been doing this and spoken with some of the formulators of what we have, and some of the doctors told me, it absorbs a lot better. And I'm like, man, I've been doing this for this long and never knew that. So, I'm always open to learn, because I have to give that information to my clients so they can benefit from it, not just me. So, that is one thing. Then we have some energy sticks that, I usually let my clients get samples of, sleep strips that help them sleep at night. The individual, that lady I was telling you about that had a shoulder surgery and a neck issue, she has fibromyalgia and lupus. So that people with fibromyalgia, they don't sleep at all. So I recommend her to, far as trying the sleep strips, and she loved them. She was able to actually get sleep when she was only sleeping like 2-3 hours a night.
We're on the cusp of a total transformation in medicine, in my opinion, where it used to be you would go in to see your doctor and you would tell him your symptoms, and then they would try to alleviate your symptom, sometimes not necessarily treating the underlying cause of those symptoms. But with the DNA testing now, they can take a sample from you or from me, and they can break it down, and they get a much clearer picture of predispositions, things that maybe you don't experience right now, but based on your DNA sample that you might experience going forward. And not only that, I believe that they're able to formulate medicines now. You're seeing it in oncology particularly, where they can take a person who has a certain type of cancer, and they're formulating the cancer treatment, whether it be a specific type of chemotherapy or monoclonal antibodies, and they're able to put that back into the person and get much better results, because it's a designed medicine as opposed to just a multivitamin. So you and I are the same age, and we grew up with Flintstones vitamins. You take one, it has basically everything in it. But what if you didn't need so much of the vitamin C, but you really need a lot more vitamin D? Well, that's where you're talking about now. You're saying a lab can basically take you, decode you, and then say, you need this, you need this, you don't need so much this. And then you're not wasting a lot of money on stuff that you don't need, and you're really emphasizing things that you do need. So the bang for the buck is greater. Am I correct?
Correct, yeah.
So I think that is the future of nutrition. I think is the future of medicine as well. and I'm glad to see that you're kind of already on board with that. So you've got some clients that have worked with you. They've done the kettlebells. They've done all the other evaluations that you've had them do. You've talked to them about supplementation. Do you have any specific stories of some people that are kind of have gone from maybe a low level to a really high level to show that no matter who you are or what you are, that you can go from not a very fit person to a very fit person?
I would probably say,
I mean, Tom Brady's kind of the he's kind of the right now the gold bar or the and the standard. He's done things that nobody thought was humanly possible. Would you agree with that?
I agree, and you have to look at. I mean, what is he? 40 something?
Add 5 to that.
Yeah, 45. But the thing is, in order for him to really, for one, he's in tune with his body. He's on I want to say he's plant-based.
Yeah.
He's on a really, really, really strict plant-based, well, he's on a really strict meal plan, put it that way. And he trains hard.
Yeah. He trains different. I mean, he doesn't just train like a football player.
No.
You see the football players in the weight room, and they're doing a lot of bench pressing. They're doing a lot of, machine type things. I don't think he does a lot of that. I think he's more functional. He trains in all the planes. A lot of what you teach, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how he trains. It's like one of my friends. He showed me, and I don't know if you've seen it. Michael Henry, the running back for.
Oh yeah.
He was on Instagram, and he had, and I've done this before too. He had a band stretched out like a thick band, big monster bands. He had it like he was in a push-up position, feet on the exercise ball, chain around his neck, and he was doing push-ups on it. So I'm like, that's pretty darn good. That's pretty good. But it's good stability, it's good core training. But can Tom Brady do that? I'm pretty sure he can.
Right.
But his training it goes beyond that. I'm pretty sure he does Pilates because he has to. I don't really recall him really being injured.
Yeah, he had one severe injury, but he came back from that, and a lot of people didn't think that he would come back for that. But to expand on your point, like you see LeBron James, and they show his workout. LeBron James has a good body. I mean, you look at him and you can see he's an athlete, and they show him doing a lot of the body blade on one foot, or he does a lot of stability exercises. He does a lot of dynamic things. The Derrick Henry you're talking about does a lot of unique things. So these athletes that have, they're already great athletes to be at the level that they're at, but what they're doing is they're training in such a way to build durability into their body. Recovery from minor injuries can happen a lot quicker when you do this. And the chances of getting injured during your training drop.
Right.
So when you played football, you went through the NFL Combine. What they want to do is they want to put you down on a bench and say, here's 225. How many times can you do 225 reps? And somehow they're using that as an evaluation tool for drafting a player. Well, that doesn't tell me a lot. It tells me you can do bench press, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't tell me what you do when you engage with somebody, when you put your hands on somebody. How does that reaction with the ground work with two athletes that are trying to either block or trying to defend? So, but the NFL Combine hadn't changed any of that stuff, and it just blows me away that you go out there and you run the 40, you do the 225-pound bench press. I think you still do the broad jump,
and then you vertical,
and then you do the vertical, and then they make you throw. If you're a receiver, they have you catch a few passes. If you're a quarterback, you throw a few, and then they're basing that draft status on those, and that doesn't give me the full picture. If I'm trying to draft somebody,
right,
I'm looking a lot more than those basic things. That does tell you some things, but it doesn't tell you. Give them a kettlebell. Let's see what you can do with a kettlebell. Put them through a Willie Ray kettlebell routine, and that's going to tell me a whole lot more about. It's going to show some vulnerabilities. It's going to show some weaknesses that you're not going to find in these other things. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So, but you get these dynamic athletes like Tom Brady, Derrick Henry, LeBron James. You got Tiger Woods, who's out there trying to maybe make a comeback from his.
I think he'll make a comeback.
Why?
I would probably say he's stubborn enough to defy the odds and basically to shut a lot of people up that doubt him.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people that doubt him before when he had those multiple back surgeries, came back and won the Masters. And then he just had this happen. Now they're trying to, say that, do you think he was under the influence? Do you think he was texting when he was driving so fast? And they were saying, well, according to the box, no. The police said, we can never tell if he was texting or not. One thing that we know was he was, driving at a high rate of speed. We can't tell if he was texting or not. But, he wasn't intoxicated. He was just trying to get to Drew Brees, because he had to play with him.
They were doing a podcast actually, and he was trying to make it on time.
He was running late from his previous engagement with Jada Pickett, and
that's right.
Was running late with them, and he was trying.
They were out in California for the Genesis Open,
right,
which he was playing in. So he had he was juggling a lot of plates, at the time. But I think the one thing that Tiger Woods does that probably LeBron James, Tom Brady do is his mental focus can go to another level.
Yeah.
They're able to take that to a level that most people have a hard time.
I think if a lot of people really took themselves to that level, they can completely change their lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And they can completely change their lifestyle. And, I think, we're stubborn in so many ways. But if we actually, and I actually put this in a post, if we actually get stubborn enough to take better care of ourselves, imagine what kind of shape we will be in.
Right. Well, so most people have very low bars set for themselves as far as their athleticism. Not everybody got to play Division I football or be on an Olympic team.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody gets to do that. Maybe they got cut from their high school basketball team, so their bar is really low. But they never had an opportunity to see what they're capable of. And I think what you do is you unlock some of that for people. Allow them to get to a level that they never thought was possible. Maybe swinging a kettlebell that well beyond what they started with, and they never thought that they could ever get there. So finding a coach or a trainer that can do that for a person it's 1 in 100. Not everybody has that ability to be able to motivate people, to be able to communicate with the people, get them to see the vision that you see for them, and then take them to that next level. So what I want to close with is I want to invite anybody out there that's watching this podcast, if you're in the Lexington, Kentucky area, look at my man Willie Ray. Go take one of his classes and see what a real workout is like. I've seen you in action. I've seen you work out with me and do things that most mortal people can't do. So I think that one of your classes would be a very great benefit to somebody who's searching for maybe that next level, or maybe has had some failures and wants to give it another try. Work with somebody who knows what to do. I've said this time and time again. If you take nothing away from this podcast, please take this away. If you're a 55-year-old man, don't spend your money on a 22-year-old person who don't have any life experience, they've never done anything, they've never been injured, and then they want to treat you with the only window that they know, which is feeling good all the time and never been hurt. If you're a 55-year-old, 65, 75-year-old, work with somebody who's older. Because how many surgeries have you had? You had several.
Shoot, I've had 6 on this knee, 2 on this one, wrist, and shoulder.
Okay. So
I've had enough.
You've had enough.
Yeah.
So you know when somebody comes to you and they say, my shoulder hurts. You automatically go into, well, I get you. Or my knee hurts. Look, I get you. So we're going to do things that's going to protect the knee, allow the body to function without injuring the knee.
Or instead of trying to push through it.
That's exactly right. That's exactly
because some coaches out there, or trainers, I won't call them coaches, it's totally different. Some trainers will say, well, just try and push through it. And so you gotta that's when you gotta have the knowledge of how to modify stuff, maybe do some prehab on it, strengthen it up, then you progressively do it. I'm gonna say this real quick, is that I'm from Detroit, Michigan. So me coming out of high school, I had offers to D1, and that's where I first obtained my first knee injury. So before I even came to Kentucky, I had 2 knee surgeries. I had my first surgery, cleaned it out, didn't have ACL repair. I ended up running indoor track in Detroit, and then re-injured it again. Then I ended up having ACL reconstruction, where they took part of my patella tendon, made it into that. Since I didn't get, since all my scholarships were gone, because I was either going to go to IU or Michigan. So when those were gone, I ended up staying home, helping my mom out, ended up working, and she passed away. And when she passed away, my main goal was to get out of Detroit, because if I would have stayed there, it wouldn't have been good for me anyway. So my main goal was, I wanted to be the first generation to graduate from college, play football, and go pro. Those were my goals I had for myself, and I never lost sight of that. And to this very day, when I got inducted in the College Hall of Fame, that was my speech. I mean, those were my goals that I had. So I was driven, pretty much self-driven, because I didn't have anyone to drive, give me that drive, or to plant that seed in my head. It was like, I got to get out. And so I had goals set up for myself. No matter if I went to college, I knew I was going to go somewhere. Didn't know. And one of my high school teammates was playing here at Kentucky State University, told the coach about me, and the coach called me up Thanksgiving morning, offered me a scholarship. Come down here, spring, that spring of '89, end up coming back the fall of '89 and playing football. So my goals never changed, of graduating, going to play at the next level, so it's, a lot of people just need to really, really, really set goals for themselves from day one, and just be stubborn enough not to let anybody steer them away from their goals.
Well, and I think that somebody who would come to hire you, you're giving them a lot of your life experience. And if I've always said this, if I go see my family physician and the family physician is overweight and smoking, you don't have a lot of credibility with me, because you're telling me to do something that you obviously don't do yourself.
Right.
If they hire you as a coach, and they want you to take them to the next level of fitness, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you've never done it. And you can give them your whole life experience and say, look, not only have I done it, but I've done it at a very high level, and I had a lot of obstacles in my way, just like you probably have obstacles in your way as well. So you have credibility, and you can't fake credibility. I think one of the things I know I'm getting long-winded, but one of the things I like is when I watch your social media, is when you give your inspirational videos, or when you're talking to people on your social media, all the comments say, man, you just speak from the heart. You're not reading from a script, you're not trying to sell me anything, you're just telling the truth, and you're speaking from the heart. And I think if I'm trying to hire you, your genuineness is an attractive quality, because you'll probably tell me, look, you're not giving it your best effort, or maybe you are giving it your best effort, but you're going to speak the truth, and sometimes people, that's what they need.
Yeah.
They need somebody to really get on their team, like you said in the beginning, and then tell them the truth. And I think that's what makes you such a good, I think that's what makes you so successful in life, and then where you
sometimes to me it can be a weakness. I mean, sometimes I think it's a weakness because I speak the truth and some people can't handle it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's true.
I'm one that's not going to sugarcoat it. I mean, during my class, it's been times where I say, you know what, that really sucked. I'm like, you guys, I said, y'all could have done better and that sucked. And they're like, they just look at me. But, you know, sometimes they know me, they've been around me long enough, and it's just like Coach Lombardi. You know, Coach Lombardi back in the day, he had expectations of his squad. That's why he's a great coach. I mean, he never sugarcoated anything. What coaches sugarcoat stuff?
Right.
And I've coached on the high school level, and my coaches in college never sugarcoated nothing for me. I didn't expect them to. And I mean, I'm going to be as straight as I can with you, because if I sugarcoat it, you know, that's going to give you the opportunity to run me over.
Right.
And if I'm being straight and direct with you, you know it's coming from the heart. It's not to hurt your feelings or take it personal. I tell them in the beginning, I said, whatever I say to you, don't take it personal, because I don't mean it. You know, I will never degrade you. I will never belittle you. I will never make you feel small like an ant. But, you know, I will in the next breath, I will give you corrective criticism, but I will never criticize you and make you feel small. I will never do that. But if I don't like something, I'll tell you, and I'll tell you how to fix it. And that's, to me, that's a coach. But my expectations, man, they are what they are.
Well, no limits.
Yep, no limits, innovative strength.
Okay, that's your shop.
Yep.
Anybody out there looking to exceed their limits, look at my man. We'll put all your information in the link in the description below. We'll post all this on our Facebook, social media. So anybody out there looking to find somebody like Willie, he's ready for you.
Always, always.
Hey man, listen, my favorite interview. It's the longest one we've done by a lot, but I appreciate your time, and hopefully have you back on again.
I appreciate your time, and you know, like I said before, this guy has been my mentor. So he's taught me a lot from the beginning. So I appreciate you having me, and I appreciate you a great deal, man.
Okay, man.
My
Thanks
pleasure.
for being here.
Thank you for having me.